Good evening. Good evening. We are back again, back with another preview, this time for an FA Cup. Arsenal take on Newcastle on Saturday, and it should be a very, very good game. And I'm joined today by another special guest. He's been on the channel once before. You may have seen him also on the Football Terrace. Fellow Arsenal fan, great guest, great guy, and I love to get him on. Here's Kesh. How you doing,
How you
mate?
doing, bro? I'm alright. How yourself? How you doing?
Yeah, not so bad, not so bad. It'll be better when this coronavirus stuff's gone away, won't it?
Definitely.
100%, 100%. So, Arsenal taking on Newcastle Saturday, FA Cup. In recent years, you'd probably say the FA Cup is, well, it might as well be called the Arsenal Cup,
Arsenal Cup.
really. Um, Yeah. So what are we? What should we talk about? Obviously, 3 wins on the bounce for Arsenal. Do you think we can make it 4?
Um, I think we should make it 4, but what you have to consider as well is I think we should make it 4, but what you have to consider as well is that the team going out won't be the same team that's been the main feature in those last 3 victories. Like you'll start seeing the likes of the Pepe's coming back in, the Williams coming back in to give the likes of Saka, Smith Rowe, the rest. So it all depends on the team that we put out and how much the lads are up for it. Obviously, I'm not expecting Newcastle to put out a strong team because they got Sheffield United as well the following game in the league. And for me, they're more concerned about that rather than the cup because they don't want to be drawn into a relegation. They'll rather have themselves safe. And for me, that's like a 6-point game there.
Okay. So obviously, this is 14 times FA Cup winner. FA Cup winners, Arsenal. Can we go on and win the FA Cup again this season? What do you think, Kesh?
I think we can. I said at the start of the season, that's the cup that I feel will go very far in. I do give ourselves a very good chance of going all the way to at least the semi-final.
At least the semi-final. Okay. Well, if we're being real, there isn't really anything else to play for. I know we've got the Europa League. It's a tough fixture that we've got against Benfica. And yeah, why not? I suppose the FA Cup is really the only thing for Arsenal to really play for this season. On your lineup, who do you expect to see in the lineup? Do you not expect to see Saka or any of them players at all?
Um, Listen, we should have enough to get through this game. Obviously, there'll be less creativity because Smith Rowe's come in and showed how extremely important it is to have a number 10 for the way Mikel wants to at least play that we've seen in the last 3 games. So I think there'll be less creativity going into this game, but I still think we should have enough to at least get a win. And if you don't get a win, you at least draw the game. I don't expect us to go to Newcastle and perform poorly and lose. You know what I mean? I know the likes of Saka should get a rest. Smith Rowe should get a rest. Tierney should get a rest. We need to rest our most important players because we got an important game coming up against Palace, and it will be a very Arsenal thing to do to go and get an injury to one of our main players.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you. So, as regards to setting up for the game, how would you like to see Arsenal set up? I think obviously in recent weeks we've played with a proper number 10. So if Smith Rowe happens to,
he drafts in some of the youngsters. Like I don't know about you, but I've been looking at the actual transfer window, and I'm more concerned about the going outs than the ins coming in because I do feel there will be a lot more better options to choose from in the summer, and I don't want us to hamper that chance of us signing at least a close enough world class number 10 that I think we deserve if we want to move forward in the right direction. So if you got a good draft in this likes of Carrigan from the youth team, let's give him an opportunity, few minutes here, see how we can do. Maybe we won't need to overspend on the likes of Bendia because I see them saying they want to charge us at least 40 mil. For me, that's a no go. You don't. We need to stop overpaying for players like that. You know what I mean? So you either stick Willian there or you give one of the youth prospects so it's opportunity in the number 10 position.
Okay. And on the transfer window, we've seen a lot of news surrounding one of our youngsters, Balogun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of speculation that he could possibly move elsewhere. There's also a lot of speculation as well that he's after £100,000 a week to stay at Arsenal. And there's also speculation that that is not the case and he's just looking for more playing time. So,
Um,
based on that, do you think he'll get a run in this game?
I think he'll get a run in this game. I think we're reading too much into it. I don't feel he's asking for 100k. It'll be absolutely bonkers to be asking for that. And if that was the case, I'll let him go for free. We can't be having youth players dictate the way we run our financial side of the game. I understand a lot of people saying, but yes, Bellerin's on 100 plus, Shaka's on 100 plus. Yes, and those are past mistakes. What we don't need to do anymore, like we've done with the Willian, is start committing these same mistakes over and over again. Also need to break out of this cycle and start doing things respectably and doing it properly. The youth player that's only played 5 appearances in cup games and Europa League, you don't go giving him 100k to stay. You don't bend your back over for no one. That's not credible in this game.
Yeah, no, I get you 100%. But at the same time, I also feel like we've put ourselves in this position by not renewing his contract soon enough.
We,
Um,
but the thing is, I do understand that. I do understand that, but I don't think 2 years ago Arsenal was looking at the likes of Balogun thinking he's going to be a player that we would have wanted in the future. Obviously, it's a thing that Arsenal need to get better at moving forward. We need to actually sort out the way we manage our youth development, as you've seen with the likes of Saliba. We need to be on top of these things and making sure they're running smoothly. Um, I don't. I know everyone's reading into it saying he wants to leave. I think what it is, I think there is an offer on the table. It's just a matter of him accepting it. But it's his agent, and as I said, I know some of the people that's around him. It's like they've got other options that's in Germany, in and around Europe. So they're assessing their situation before they go and jump ahead and sign the deal. At the end of the day, Arsenal could put the best offer down on the table for this kid. And if he's got other options in Germany that he feels is better suited for him, he's going to turn it down. So it's not a thing that Arsenal's not being proactive and wanting to sign. They do want him to sign. He wants to stay as well. But as an agent, you've got to advise your client. That's what they're there for. You advise your client. You say, look, they're offering this. Maybe you can go there, play for a year or two, and then you can probably nick another move. You know what I mean? So there's no rush for him. That's the situation that is right now.
yeah. Oh, and of course, the agents are going to try and get as much money as they can for their client. That's,
I
the
don't, I
way of the
don't, I
world.
don't totally think it's about money because Arsenal, Arsenal's dealt with his agent before. It's the same agent as the Iwobi, the same agent as the Nelson, the same agent as Saka. They've all got the same agent, so it's not like they've been issues in the past where they've had bad dealings before. It's nothing to do with that. It's just you have to assess. Like remember, Arsenal's got Eddie Nketiah, which I do feel we need to offload. They've got Lacazette. We don't actually know what the situation is with Lacazette's contract right now. You still got a Bammy in there. So you have to assess these things. You have to make sure your client's got a clear path to progress. And what you saw with Saka's one took a bit of a while as well. But I feel the Saka's deal was a lot more straightforward because there wasn't really that many options on the wing that can stop him. Like you've got Martinelli as well, whose future could probably lie at centre forward. So that's what 4 players ahead of him already. So you have to assess these things before you make a client go and sign the deal.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Let's talk about Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
because they are our opponents on Saturday. Now, they have lost their last 4 of their last 6 games in the Premier League. They was also knocked out of the League Cup by Brentford in the quarterfinals. They're on a bit of a poor run of form at the moment. However, they did get a very good draw against Liverpool in the Premier League a couple of weeks ago. They're currently sat 15th in the league on 19 points, 4 points behind us with a game in hand. How do you see Newcastle setting up for this game? Do you think they'll try and attack us and expose us, or do you reckon they will try and sit back and hit us on the counter?
The thing with Bruce, Bruce, he's not really a proactive manager, as you've seen with the previous games. Whatever positive result he gets, like say the likes of when they played Liverpool, he'll carry it over to the next game rather than assessing and doing his research to see what problems the team can cause to his team. He doesn't do that. He just sets his team that from the last game out. The way they've been playing poor all season. Like Bruce Ball, absolutely horrendous. We've been bad and they've been bad, but like he takes the love of the game out of that team. You've seen their best football was against Liverpool the other day when they played. I'm not quite sure it will be quite like that because, as I said, they've got Sheffield United the following game, and I do feel they'd rather take their chances and make sure that they're secure in the league rather than a long run in the FA Cup that really and truly I don't think they've got a chance of going far into the cup competition anyway. So you got Callum Wilson. I don't think you'll see Callum Wilson start. They got Alex St. Maxim, probably one of their more flamboyant players. He's missing as well. You got Fraser who's missing. In terms of us breaking them down, I do feel we will struggle a lot because, as I said, we're not going to have the likes of Smith Rowe occupying the more further up the pitch. Sorry, we're not going to have him. So you're going to be dependent on the likes of Willian trying to break down a really low block Newcastle because they do tend to set up with the 3 at the back and the wing backs, and then you've got the likes of Shelby and Isaac Aiden sitting in deep and making it compact. So it's all about how Arsenal can break them down. That's why I don't feel it's going to be a victory where we walk over them. I think it will be a very tight and cagey game more than anything.
Okay, well, I see something earlier actually that surprised me a little bit. Newcastle in and around the relegation dogfight. We expect them to be there to come towards the end of the season as well. But they've actually lost less games in the league than we have.
That's why I say the league is a terrible league this year. I don't care what anyone trying to say, it's because the rest of the league has caught up to the big teams. I don't think it. I think yes, their recruitment's a lot better, but at the same time, I do feel this COVID thing is affecting a lot of the bigger teams. No fans being there, which plays a big part of it. Like instead of the lesser teams having their own fans, which normally gives them a big advantage when other teams come to play them, but then they're actually going away and getting victories at the bigger teams because there's no fans there for them. So it's more of a more relaxing feeling, and the players tend to not be on the ball as much as you see in previous normal seasons.
Yeah, no, that's fair as well. So moving on to the starting lineup. Run through it, mate. Who do you want to see start on Saturday?
Well, it's gonna be a toss-up of Leno. It's gonna have to be Leno. I don't really want to see the likes of Runnison playing. I generally don't. I know there's been reports that the young kid he's rated a lot in the Arsenal youth team. I think he's English. He's also eligible for Nigeria as well. He's a bright prospect. I see that they've promoted him to the first team. I think it'll be a long shot that they'll actually start him. So you think you'll see the likes of Leno starting. Right back, you'll see Cedric. I think you'll see Cedric come in. I won't be surprised if you see the likes of Maitland Niles covering at left back for Kieran Tierney because Kolasinac is now gone. You're definitely going to see a partnership of probably Gabriel and Louise. I wouldn't be surprised if he gives Chambers a chance. I know Chambers recently come back from injury. He played in the last. Did he not play in the last Europa League game as well? Or
Yeah, I
played
think
some
he did.
part,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think of the centre backs, it'll probably be Louise, Gabriel, and Chambers. Obviously, Gabriel hasn't played the last 3 games, so you probably need to get him back up to speed again. I see rumours that Partey is now fit. I wouldn't risk Partey. I wouldn't throw him straight in. I'll play him off the bench, get him a few minutes, but I wouldn't start him in that game. You're more than likely going to see a midfield of Ceballos and Elneny again. Pepe on the right, I reckon.
He's going to go out there wait for what?
Where is he?
Willian, the thing is that the 10 position that's the biggest issue for me because you've got to play Willian. I don't feel Willian is a player that should be playing on the wing. I feel you've got to put him in there, play him almost like a second striker off the front man. He's probably going to be Eddie Nketiah. Ideally, you'd like to see Balogun starting because you need to give the kids some sort of reward. Start making him feel that he's wanted. You know what I mean? Like you can't keep leaving him on the bench and think that's going to persuade him to sign the contract.
Exactly. I have the same issue as what you do. When he came in and he played the 2 Europa League games, he scored 2 goals.
Done well.
He created assist as well. Did very well. What more do you want from the kid? And then Mikel Arteta, the following game, left him at home, and it's just like, okay,
But
well,
you know what it is though? It seems like another. How do I describe it? Because what it is, the club don't want to give a player exposure if they know that there's a chance of him leaving. You know what I mean? I feel if Eddie wasn't on 1 year left in his contract, I feel you would see Balogun playing a lot more. But Arsenal's looking at it as a thing where you got to keep Eddie happy and hope that he signs a new contract because Eddie's value, as big a prospect as Balogun is to Eddie, Eddie's value is more than Balogun. Eddie's been there, he's scored the goals, so you can go and get a 20 mil for Eddie. You can't go and get a 20 mil for Balogun in this market. So I feel it's a thing where Eddie being in his last year is having a detrimental effect of Balogun getting games.
Right, okay. I didn't know that Eddie Nketiah was in his last year.
Yeah, after this season, you have 1 year left.
Right, okay. So, with regards to Eddie Nketiah, obviously you've already said that you would sell him. Mikel Arteta seems to be a massive fan of Eddie Nketiah. What do you think it is about Eddie Nketiah that Mikel Arteta sees? Because I'm struggling, mate.
I think it's just his work rate, his pressing. What Mikel wants a striker who's gonna have the work rate, the desire to do the pressing, but also the hold up play and can get among the goals. He's not the perfect package. So Mikel's probably looking at him that, well, he's got the work rate, everything. Maybe I can work on his game and help him to improve where his all round hold up play, bringing people into play and getting goals can improve. But I don't see it. Personally, I don't see it. Because if you actually watch him, I don't think he's got the basics when it comes to playing as a forward player or leading line on his own. I feel Eddie's game is more suited to playing as a poacher alongside another striker, whether it's a target man or just another player to just link off. He's more of a. I think he's born in the wrong era of football for me. You don't tend to see a lot of strikers these days or a lot of teams that's playing 4-4-2 anymore. Probably the likes of Burnley. I do feel he would go to a Burnley and he will flourish. Sometimes it's not necessarily the player's fault. I feel like he just needs to find his level, and I don't feel Arsenal is his level. He just needs to go and find his own path to excel.
Yeah. It's a strange one, really, because when he first broke into the Arsenal team, I remember that It was 2 goals against Norwich.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, get this kid in the side, get this kid in the side.
But you know what?
And
We had a lot of better team back then. That's the thing. You had the likes of Sanchez, you had the likes of Ozil back then. So I don't think it's a thing where fans thought Eddie was going to come on and be the next big number 9 for Arsenal. I feel that we saw that he could play an impact off the bench. But what we've seen over the last 2 seasons is Eddie's played a lot more fixtures or a lot more important games than he should have. You know what I mean? Like Eddie shouldn't be leading your line against the likes of a Chelsea, the likes of a Man United. He should be coming into games like the West Broms, for instance. You know what I mean? When Arsenal's on a high, like the Europa League game when the game's almost finished. You know, you're up to, you bring him off the bench. But Eddie's not an important part of this team. He should not be starting important games.
Okay. I'm just going to read out a couple of these comments. Devin is in the chat again. Hi, Devin. How you doing? Stephen's here. Hey, mate. Hope you're well. He's happy to come on if needed. And he says also, big up to you, Kesh, working during this crisis. Yeah, big up, Kesh. What is it you do for a job, mate?
I'm a fire marshal. So,
right.
Like with the Glenfell fire and everything, there's a lot of buildings in and around London that's not fire safety. So, for instance, if there's a fire, the fire alarms ain't there, they probably don't work, little things like that. So, there's a small team that rotates from day shift to night shift. They make sure they do their rotations, just watch the building really, and make sure they follow protocols and just keeping the building safe. Basically, just another air for a fire. That's it.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. What got you into that?
Well, I was doing pharmaceuticals just before COVID, and obviously they ended up getting rid of a few people. So I've just been looking for jobs, and this one came up, and I thought, yeah, why not? The money's good. It's not really a pressure rising job. It's just basically you just there, just making sure you're looking out for the safety of others. That's it.
Good on you, mate. Good on you. I'm also trying to work as well, but it's not really working out for me at the moment. So,
yeah, it's hard, man.
This whole COVID thing is ridiculous. It's like Boris saying, "Oh, like I'm part of construction. I'm a welding fabricator." Mm-hmm. So we're classed as construction, really. And he says, "Oh, let's keep construction going." But he doesn't realise that the knock-on effect is affecting the work coming in.
Yeah.
It's just mad. But there you go. We've also got AFC 04 in the chat as well. Who would you guys sell now and in the summer? I'll let you go with that one, Kesh.
For me, right now, the priority is getting rid of the little cliques in the change room. The Ozils, the Mustafis, the Kalashnikov, just people that's on very big wages and not really playing their part in the team. Because you can't have someone that's on 140, 150 plus and that, and they're not playing. It doesn't make any sense. It's not a value for cost. And if it's a thing where they're in the change room and they're causing complications or undermining the manager and things like that, then it's best to move them on. So there's probably 1 to 5 of them right now. You're not going to get rid of all of them in the January transfer window, but those are the main ones. You know what I mean? And then moving into the summer, then you can decide the likes of El Neni, the likes of Xhaka, the likes of David Luiz, whose contract's going to be out anyway, so no point talking about him. Maybe if you can find a way to, to negotiate a deal to get Pepe out, the way you structure the deal, whether it's a loan and you pay a certain amount over the next 2 seasons, you've got to try and make back as much money as you can from that deal. I reckon you could probably sort a deal for installments about 45. For me, that's the loss you're gonna have to take. You take it and you move on. I don't see him improving or being a player that many of us Arsenal fans expected him to be.
Yeah, and Mesut Ozil, big news this week that he is in talks with DC United and Fenerbahce. I mean, a lot of Arsenal fans are excited about that. To finally get his wages off the books more than anything. Do you see that deal happening this month, or do you think it will just sign a pre-contract and move on in the summer?
I think it's gonna happen. There's been too much movement on it for it not to happen. I feel he's gone. As much as I don't like the fact that he stayed for 6 months, knowing that he wasn't gonna play when there was offers on the table, I don't like that. But when he's gone, I will remember him fondly, and I will move on from it. And it would just be good riddance that now the club can move on from these players that's not really contributing. At the end of the day, it's business, isn't it? If you're not playing, you shouldn't be amongst the squad just collecting your wages for sitting there. I know it's not his fault, and it's the club's fault for putting him on such higher wages that, for one, he didn't deserve in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're a winning club, and you're progressively making your title challenges and things like that, and he's a main important part of that, you don't put someone on 350k. No player should at Arsenal should be on that, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree, 100%. AFC04 has also given us his starting lineup as well. He says Leno, Cedric, Luiz, Gabriel, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Ceballos, El Neni, Pepe, Willian, Martinelli, and Nketiah. That'll be interesting, actually. One name that he's just thrown in there that we didn't include, Martinelli. Do you reckon he could possibly start?
I think it's a possibility. Like, he's got a rest. I don't think you need to start him though. I think you can bring him off the bench to get a few minutes. For me personally, if I had to choose, Aubameyang would start in this game, because we need to get Aubameyang a few goals to try and get him up and fire him, because it can't go on for much longer for him not scoring. And you can see that he's not exactly the most confident person right now. A few goals could help that situation.
Yeah, I agree. My lineup, I'll run through my lineup. I would go with, of course, Bernd Leno in goal. I don't want to see Runnison anywhere near this team. That is probably why the youngster's been promoted out of the youth team, because Runnison is that bad. Cedric, I would actually stick with the current centre-back partnership that we've got. Maybe change Pablo Mari and bring in Gabriel, because he hasn't played for a while. And then I'd put Rob Holding in there as well. Explanatory. If that will go away, come on, go away. Thank you. It's going to have to be Ainsley Maitland-Niles, because there is nobody else. I don't think there's anybody else that can play left back, is there, Kesh?
Left back. There is.
I
But
suppose
it's a long shot. It's a long shot, because I know Ben Cottrell, he was a left back before he moved to the academy, and he's played there a few times on a couple of occasions for Arsenal. I think even in pre-season he got a game there as well at left back. So it is something you could try. Maybe we should try it, because we're gonna need someone who's capable of coming and providing competition for Tierney or cover for Tierney. So maybe it's something that we should use this game to see if he's capable of doing it.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. You got to give youngsters a chance. If you don't give them a chance, you never know.
You never know. Yeah.
So
we're also forgetting Aziz as well. Like, Aziz is another one that you probably want to see get an opportunity in this game. And the fact that we're moving players out, we probably could do with a bit of cover that we know we can depend on. So you need to use this game to see if you can depend on these kids.
Yeah, no, I agree again. And to be honest with you, I was very impressed with Aziz in the Europa League game when he came on in his little cameo. He looked very, very cool, calm, and collected on the ball. Yeah, he looks like he could be a decent player in the future. I would actually chuck him in the midfield for this game.
I would.
I don't know who you'd play him next to, because I don't think El Neni would really suit that sort of thing. I think if you're going to play him next to anyone, you need somebody who's a bit more of a leader, um, a bit more experienced. So maybe Granit Xhaka, maybe um, that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
I think number 10. Well, if it's not going to be Smith Rowe, then it's got to be Willian, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about? Here's another option, right? I'm just thinking, right? Nicolas Pepe. We haven't really seen the best of him since he's been at Arsenal.
He's not a number 10. Don't say it. He would absolutely struggle to play in that position.
Do you think?
He'll struggle. He hasn't
The
got
only reason
the sharpness. He doesn't think before he receives the ball. Everything that Pepe does is when he receives the ball. That's when he gets thinking. For me, if you're playing a number 10 position, you've got to be 2 steps ahead of the opposition. You've got to know what your next move is before you even get the ball.
What about playing him centrally as a striker?
It's worth a shot.
I mean, the only reason I'm sort of suggesting it is because when I watched Pepe, especially on the right-hand side, he actually looks a little bit better to me on the left-hand side, but I think that's because he is left-footed. But when I watch Pepe on the right-hand side, he's constantly cutting in on his left.
The thing is, Pepe to play, I don't know, man. It's a difficult one because everything he does has to be ball to his feet, and football's more than that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. You can't always want to receive the ball at your feet. You got to run off the ball. You got to stretch the opposition. You got to make space. There's a thing called diversion run or third man run. Like, you don't always have to get the ball.
Okay. What about Joe Willock?
It's more than likely that he will play his future in that game. Whether he starts or he comes on as a sub, I'm not quite sure.
Would you play him as a number 10?
Well, that's the only position he has been playing. He hasn't played anywhere else, so.
Because he gets it. One thing you can say about Joe Willock is he does get goals. He does get into some very good positions at times. He's just his decision making in the final third is just
poor.
Yeah. It is poor. I would actually go, of course, with Pepe on the right. I'd go with Joe Willock in the 10 actually. If Smith Rowe's not starting, I'd also go. In fact, no, I'm going to change that around. I'll go Willian on the right, Pepe on the left, Willock in the 10. And I would like to see Balogun up front, but at the same time, I would like to see Aubameyang a bit more because I think we need to get this guy scoring. You know, he's the only guy really in the Arsenal team who can consistently score goals. He's the only guy who's really good.
I won't be surprised if Aubameyang actually does play, come to think of it, because ideally against Palace, I'd want to see Martinelli back at left wing.
Okay. Yeah, I agree as well. So, moving on to, of course, score predictions. Stephen Featley says, do you think Balogun will start? I would give him a chance. Yeah, we both said the same thing, mate. We would give Balogun a chance, but it's down to Mikel Arteta. And at the end of the day, if you want this kid to sign a new contract, then you've got to give him something back, you know?
Yeah.
So ideally, we'd like to see him start, but I think we both agreed that we think we'll probably see Aubameyang there, to be fair. So we'll move on then, Kesh, to score prediction. What do you reckon the score is going to be?
2-0 Arsenal.
2-0?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually think it's going to be a very close game. I think the way Newcastle's set up, it's very hard to break down. And if we don't have Smith Rowe in that number 10, it could be more difficult than what we.
Yeah, I do. When I say 2-0, it will be difficult. I don't. I think what you will find is later towards the end of the game, Arsenal will get 2 goals, but it won't. The 2 goals won't tell the full story of the game.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm gonna go 2-1. You know, I just feel like Newcastle will score,
They
and I
probably
don't know
will,
why.
because I won't be surprised if you see Andy Carroll up there. I was saying this early on the stream. He's going to be looking for the knockdowns and things like that, you know?
Exactly, and well, in Andy Carroll's day, you know, when he was actually when he first burst onto the scene with Newcastle, and even at Liverpool, we've always struggled against aerial threats like him. Um, and yeah, I just, if he starts, I can see him scoring myself. And if not, Callum Wilson, he's banged 8 goals this season, 3 assists. Yeah, possibly. I don't really know. I don't really know where any other threat is coming from. Newcastle, really. I don't really look at their team and think, "Cool, we got to keep this player quiet or this player quiet." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, is there any players in the Newcastle side that you would possibly take and bring to Arsenal?
Not a chance.
No, none of them.
Probably,
No,
nah.
no, not even Saint Maximan.
I'll take him over Pepe, but it's not a thing where I'll take him to come and be a first team player. But,
Mm.
you know, you got Pepe and he's better than Pepe, so yeah.
What about Callum Wilson?
Nah, what is he now? 29, something like that.
No, not for you. Carl Darlow.
We do need a backup, so yeah.
Yeah.
We do need a backup.
What about Jamal Lascelles?
Nah, we don't take him.
No. Okay. Trying to think who else there is. There's Sean and Matty Longstaff as well. I know Manchester United had massive interest in Sean
The, New,
Longstaff at
the,
one time.
the Newcastle fans don't even like them. Honestly, they don't rate
Jesus,
them. It's crazy.
it's mad.
They say they wish
Madness.
Man United took the 50 mil. They wish they took the 50 mil offer. But I think that was for Sean or Matty. I can't remember which one that was for.
That was for Sean Longstaff.
Yeah.
That one. I actually think that Matty Longstaff is better than Sean.
Yeah.
But yeah. What about Steve Bruce? Would you take him as manager?
Oh God, no chance.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, I don't know. I don't even know how he got that job, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, how can you go from Rafa Benitez to Steve Bruce? It's just complete opposite end of the spectrum, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there you go. So yeah, there's our score predictions. Is 15 coming? I know Manchester United fans like to talk about is 21 coming with the league. Is 15 coming, Kesh?
It's too soon to say. It's too soon to say. It's all about the luck of the draw, really. We could do with a good run to the semi-final. You know,
Yeah.
Arsenal, when it gets to the semi-final of this competition, we tend to turn up, you know?
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. Like how we can turn up at certain times with certain competitions and certain things, but then, you know, we're appalling in the league, and it's just like it is a complete madness. But it is the Arsenal Cup. It's brought us some good memories in recent years,
Exactly.
and let's hope that they can bring us some more. And I'm just going to play a video for everybody, just to show you all the 14-time FA Cup winners. What memories, eh? What memories? I've got a
Some good
question
team
for
there.
you. I've got a question for you. Out of all 14 of them FA Cups, which one is the most memorable for you?
I think it would have to be the one that broke our little Udu of not winning a title for me. Has to be that one, man.
The
For
one against Hull
years,
City?
yeah, for years. Like you used to get banned and you ain't won nothing. That just become an end. Then I thought we would have at least gone and pushed on for more, but we haven't. But like the way that game was going, I was at that game as well. Not there watching it. I was working at Wembley, but I snuck off from my job and I was like, I'm not doing that. Arsenal's playing, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta watch. So I've gone out there now. And I just felt defeated, man, the way that game was going. And then we ended up scoring. Was it Cazorla from the free kick? Like, if we never scored that free kick, I don't think we would have had a comeback. So
What
yeah,
a free kick as well.
yeah,
It was a
it has
mad
to be
free
that
kick.
game for me. Yeah, it has to be that game for me.
And what a player, Cazorla as well. We really do miss someone like him. He was a brilliant player. Epic player. What was the first FA Cup win that you remember?
Would have to be the double. The double.
The double one.
Yeah. What was
God,
that? The 2000, was it 2002?
2002.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's to be
yeah.
that one, yeah.
I tell you what, one of my fondest memories as a child, I remember it bright as day as well. 2005 FA Cup win against Manchester United on penalties. At the time, Manchester United were just some force, and we weren't bad ourselves. To be fair, we was pretty decent, and it was a real close game. And I remember sitting at home. I was actually at a mate's house. He had a few people around watching it, and the madness after we won on penalties was just unreal. Also, 1998 FA Cup win was actually against Newcastle in the final. Ian Wright lifting that one. I love that photo I've got on there as well. What a face! Unbelievable. Yeah, it's been mad. And of course, last season, I mean, there was a photo on there as well from the 2014 one with Mikel Arteta lifting it as a player. It's just mad how 6 years down the line he's been lifting it as a manager. Mad. But it just goes to show where you can get in life, I suppose. Is there anything else you want to add, Kesh?
No, not really. Just that besides the starting lineup, I hope to see the likes of at least Azize on the bench, Carrijon, because these are the games where you need to test these youngsters. Because you're not going to throw them into the Premier League game. You're probably less likely to throw them in the Europa League game now that we're getting to the real nitty gritty of the competition. So we need to start testing these kids in that game at Newcastle, where it's not really a team that's better than us. Obviously, they can win the game against us, but they're not better than us. So you can end up throwing them in for a few minutes and seeing what they're capable of.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd like to see a few players get the opportunity as well. And hopefully we will see that on Saturday. And hopefully we can progress to the next round. And hopefully number 15 will be on its way. Thanks for coming on to the show today, mate. I appreciate it. And thank you to each and everybody who has tuned in. Big up to every single one of you. We will be back again with a match reaction after the game on Saturday. Hopefully, we will progress to the next round and make it 4 wins on the bounce. Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, man. Let's get this win.